Okay, here we go, the moment of truth, the day of truth. Finally gonna pull this head off and see what the problem is. Problem is holdy gloves. We're going to determine whether it's block deep, head deep, or just gasket deep. It really still at this point could go either in any of those directions. I can see the gasket blown out right now. So we definitely know the gasket is bad, but did it take the head and or the block with it at the same time? I don't know. The massive failure that it took to blow the gasket out that much had to be a lot of pressure, so it could have just done everything really. But it also, somebody mentioned that the head gasket acts kind of like a fuse, which I thought was an interesting idea, that it's the weakest point so that when cylinder pressures get too much, that's what goes. It's the cheapest and easiest to fix. So that could be it as well. Here, I'll show you what I'm looking at on this gasket here. It's kind of interesting. Pretty obvious. We got a number 8 failure. Yeah. So that's what we're going to get to right now. Fun part is going to be taking off this gasket or this valve cover. But then it should go pretty well from there. So let's just go ahead and get her done. Clean up my work area here. Now, these are usually quite difficult. But that's okay because I have no leaks on here. I use black silicone, black RTV around the edges as a gasket, and it's sealed great. I've got little weeping other gaskets, mostly from the oil drain on the turbo, I think. But yeah, this is not a greasy mess for 33,000 miles at all. I've had these heads off before. When I got this motor from Ted's Trucks, I pulled the heads off to put 10 thousandths thicker gaskets on it. I wanted to lower the compression ratio a little bit, and like I said a minute ago, I was able to get the valve covers back on without them leaking. So the reason why I'm saying that is because these stick so well, if they're sealed right, and they do get stuck down a lot of the time, then you can really reef on them to get them off and bend them. So the way I've done it in the past is use a very small little scraper like this, and that breaks the seal loose, and then I have come along with a flat blade screwdriver behind it and use it to apply very gentle pressure up and just work my way around, and that lifts the seal up without bending the metal of the valve cover. So right here is around the edge is kind of a curled edge around the top and the bottom. So I like start out right here on the end corner and just take it nice and slow. This is made to be hammered on. It's got a little bit of a reinforcement on the end, so it's not a I mean, it's a cheap little part or tool, but you know, it's not one of the cheap Chinese ones that'll fall apart. I'll put a link in the article. Yeah, boy, she sticks. Got another one with a sharper edge. I'm gonna try that. See if I can get this thing started. This one is a hide, a little more beat up, needs some work. But basically the same exact thing, except it doesn't have a hammer on the end of it. Hammering point. But I got a rubber mallet, so it should be fine. I do remember this was the hardest part when I started, or when I did it last time, is starting it. There we go. Not helping. Boy. Now the flat blade just to follow behind. And afterwards I'll tap down the edges as well, make sure that they're not bent up any. Ow. There we go. Letting the handle ride along the top of the valve cover there. Lift up on the handle, it keeps it at a good angle, and it's just trucking right along there. Let's use this other one. I don't want to gouge the head, assuming that it's not cracked and ruined. I'm hoping to reuse it. Loose. Oh, see it. Get under that rolled lip there. Okay, she's ready to come off. Nothing horribly catastrophic, except certainly did get water in the antifreeze. I mean, certainly did get antifreeze in the oil. Shoo! I may have some problems with my bearings down the line. I know you purists are going crazy. Put in new bearings. And well, you're right. I should. But I just don't have that option right now. Okay. what happens when you loan a buddy your breaker bar. You end up doing things the hard way. Heard a weird sound as the oil coming up out of the threads. Okay, let's line up these push rods. I'm going to try to keep everything in the same spot that they're in. I even do nuts and bolts, even though that shouldn't matter. It's just, I don't know, preference. Keep everything the same. I'm not going to worry about these though, I guess. I guess it doesn't bother me that much. So when I put my ARP head studs in, I sealed them as well as I could. There's so much controversy out there as far as what seals. There's some people out there that say you can't seal them. I disagree. I haven't had any issues with these in 3 years. One thing that I did do, you can see a little bit of an indication here. You can see maybe on that washer, there's a little bit of residue on there. Because I actually, and I went through in my installing ARP head studs article, I went through how I sealed even this part, not just threads. I sealed the threads with the proper GM sealant. Everybody says it's expensive, but hey, if it works, $25 to solve a problem, it's good enough for me. I don't look at it as $25 for a tube of sealer. I look at it as $25 as a motor that's not going to get ruined. So I put a little bit of sealer under the washer and then on top of the washer, and then I put the nut on. And it was a bit of a mess, but it was one little step that I wanted to take to ensure that I was getting them as sealed as I possibly could. And they did seal. Boy, they're on there. I like it. I like it a lot. Little tap and dry it off. Boy, I don't mind working at this really, knowing that it's sealed like this. Since the head gasket is blown over here, I know the seal is loose here, so I wonder if I can't get it off there. And there's a little spot right here that it's not a sealing surface I can pry on. the right bite, with the right tool, which this is not, as usual. I remember I did this once before. I'm glad I've learned in my old age to not beat the hell out of things. I say after I beat the hell out of that. Try removing all your nuts. I am not a smooth operator. Ow! You guys watching me loosen those in sequence were probably screaming, "Don't forget the others." Tell you, sometimes I wonder how I find the bathroom in the morning. Luckily, all I do is go out the front door. We won't go into that. Dave, I need my breaker bar back. Okay. Some semblance of a torque sequence here. Warts and all, I guess, on these videos. Okay, let's see where we're at there. Now, where are we at? Same spot. There we go. Since I hope I'm just going to get a whole new tube here, I'm just going to pop this off. Not that it's a difficult thing, I just am trying to remove as little as possible for time and simplicity. And that 30 seconds that I just took to remove that is going to kill me, right? Wrong. Remember, this is a studded engine, so we got to pull the heads up. That's why the whole motor had to come out. Give me a handhold here. A little bit taller here. Okay. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 13, 15, 16, 17. Nothing immediately catastrophic. So that's good. Oh. Here's that head gasket. There's a little line on the cylinder, but it doesn't really look like a crack, but I'll take a closer look at it. Does it look like it had water in the cylinder? So far the heads don't look bad. Again, I'll look at it closer, but I don't see any obvious cracks. I expected horror. This is an engine that runs vegetable oil and water methanol injection. It was running diesel the last, I don't know, 15 or 20 miles before it shut off. But